Hello and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. In the news, the Hopkins County Commissioners Court approved a request from County Clerk Tracy Smith that pay for election workers be raised from $10 to $12 an hour this year. This matches a state change that changes the rate from $8 to $12 an hour for election workers. The Commissioners Court also approved paying election workers $12 an hour to attend required training, which typically lasts 2 to 3 hours. Ms. Smith said at least one more election judge and a few more election workers are still needed for the upcoming election. All full-time Hopkins County employees and elected officials will benefit from a 5% cost of living increase in pay in the county budget for the next fiscal year that begins October 1st. Pay increase was factored into the budget approved by the Commissioners Court Monday morning. The increase for elected officials includes $75 a year for longevity pay, and an additional supplement for the sheriff this year, according to County Judge Robert Newsom and Auditor Shanna Alsbrook. The tax rate in the adopted county budget remains the same as in the current budget. However, due to increases in property values and new property added to tax rolls during the last year, county revenue is increasing 6.39%. The Hopkins County Commissioners Court and County Fire Chief Andy Inslee recognized the Brinker Volunteer Fire Department for their dedication and their 25 years of service to the community on Monday morning. Recognition part of the ongoing celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Hopkins County Fire Department. All of the county volunteer fire departments are being recognized over the next year. Brinker Volunteer Fire Rescue was formed back on March 24th of 1994. Volunteer Department's first call was to a grass fire on County Road 3341 back on August the 8th of 1994. The department also suffered a catastrophic fire in its fire station's bay area, and it had to be rebuilt.
As you may have known, the Northeast Texas Children's Museum in Commerce is getting a new home, and that time is getting closer and closer. Their grand opening is October 19th in the new location, 2 miles closer to Sulphur Springs than before. Let's talk to Director of the Children's Museum, Charlene Garrison Freeman.
And it's just the most exciting thing ever where we are right now. I am just so excited I can hardly stand it. But we are getting ready to move in 13 days to our new site. And this is the building that we have purchased along with 7 acres. The building is 26,000 square feet. And it is going to bring a whole new level of children's entertainment for this whole area.
Wow.
I know, wow.
But the current location is still open.
We are still open for 13 more days.
Okay.
So
well, you had events booked and you have regular seasonal things to do yet.
Yes, we have not closed down. We're still having birthday parties. We have field trips coming in. We're getting ready to do our 3rd grade STEM for 3rd grade, which is a program that will actually be done at our new location, but we are now scheduling for that. So we have business as usual, and we have all the excitement of moving.
And one of your things that's business as usual is the traveling lung.
Yes, we have a mega lung. It is 8 feet tall, 13 feet wide, and it shows all the diseases of the lung. We take this to 4th grade in our area, and with all of the information coming out about e-cigarettes as well as smoking, I feel like this is a critical lesson for children.
Wonderful. Wonderful things at the Northeast Texas Children's Museum. And if you've been already once, maybe you had children, now you've got some grandchildren or a different set of grandchildren, take them to this museum and especially be ready to take them to the new one.
Oh, the new one is just fabulous. I cannot explain it. I think everyone is just going to be blown away by all that the new one is going to offer.
Well, you will have a gap. You personally will have a gap of only Less than a
About
month?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we will probably be closed for around 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we have a grand opening coming up on October the 19th. That is a Saturday. It'll get here before we know it. But just for some of the things that have happened as we have been getting ready for our move, Charles Schwab in Greenville donated $25,000 for an exhibit called Amazing Airways. And this is a system of pneumatic tubes where children can put something in, a scarf, a ball, and watch it shoot through around a 12-foot wall. So this brings a whole new element to our museum. We are building a little town with a gas station and little cars for the children. And also we're doing a lot of painting and refurbishing of the exhibits we already have that are already so popular with the kids.
On the Charles Schwab donated display, tell me the name of that again.
Amazing Airways.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to go online and check it out, it is amazing.
The gas station, you already have a grocery store.
We will have a little hospital. It has a little bay garage for the ambulance. Brookshire's is making our Brookshire's look just like a real Brookshire's.
Wow.
Family Smiles Dental is using their wallpaper to make their exhibit look very authentic. We also have Commerce Veterinary Clinic. We have two realtors in Greenville that are sponsoring the house.
Wow.
And that everyone, the Lions Club in Commerce is sponsoring our bubble room. Fix and Feed is doing our farm area. So all of this is helping us be able to upgrade what we already have.
Well, it's not that I'm thinking that there's not another one just like this that you had plans for that you could kind of copy. This has just been something that's evolved in your dream.
You put that very well, I know. It has. It always concerned me in the one we are now that all our little shops couldn't be put together as being in a little town. So now we have the opportunity to do this. We got to build from scratch. Becky Thompson is our project manager. Some may know her as the owner of Muggs, our downtown coffee shop. If you do know Muggs, you know what a great job she did renovating that area. But she has made possible what we only dreamed because of her building skills.
So really, the people that you have named, the business establishments that you have named, and also Becky from Muggs, these are people that are already friends of yours and have a love for the museum already, and they got to contribute.
Well, and we asked them to just step up what they were already doing. Lone Star Eatery is another one I did not mention, I'm sure. But everyone stepped up, and they've just come through 100%. We've just finished a brick campaign, put your name on a brick, and Gloria Matthews with Pioneer Memorial has donated the brick and the engraving. And we have sold around 200 brick, which brought in another $20,000. So we also had an anonymous $30,000 donation, and if you could have seen the expression on my face when I got that check, but I just cried. But anyway, it's all of it has been so exciting, and to see all of these things come together.
Wow.
The museum has been open for 17 years. The group met for 8 years before the museum ever opened. And a lot of those people are still involved. They have been involved the whole time. And I know it's very rewarding to them to see where the museum is today.
This is really amazing. It's really a miracle.
It is a miracle. In fact, when I've been at the museum now for 10 years, and when I first came, someone told me two things. First, that the museum was a miracle. It has no reason to exist, except it does exist, and a lot of people have put a lot of time and effort. And the second is that it's a treasure, and I hope it will be a treasure for all the families throughout Northeast Texas. We are now drawing very easily from over an hour. Where families will drive, schools are driving that distance to come to our museum. And we feel like we hope that what I've always wanted is to have something in this area that was comparable to what a family would drive to Dallas with their children to participate in. And I do feel like we are there. It's just going to be amazing what we're going to have in this new museum. Oh, and the most important thing, it is 2.5 miles closer to Sulphur Springs.
That's great. Highway 11, east of Commerce.
Yes.
Okay. And if you've passed through there, I'm sure you've probably already seen some construction or the area there.
Well, if you will look for some red paint on the top of the awning, okay. There will be more signs to appear soon, okay. But that will let you know where the museum's going to be.
That's wonderful. Well, there's not another one like it.
We feel like it is. We focus on younger children, usually 3rd or 4th grade and younger. Although if an older child comes, that doesn't mean they're not going to have a wonderful time. But it's all hands-on, creative play, and this is something children do not have a lot of opportunity to do today. I know sometimes the grandparents come in and say, this is the only time we've seen our grandchild without a device in their hand.
This is so true. And when we have visited before in recent years, it was not as true then as it is now. There's your grand opening on October 19th. You will still be in business there at the original location in Commerce on Highway 24. Just across from the university.
Mm-hmm. For 13 more days.
13 more days. And they're
not that I'm counting.
No. I just don't know how you do it all. And I know you have a good group of volunteers and staffers.
Mainly staffers. I mean, volunteers too, but I know some people think if you work at a children's museum, you're a volunteer, and that's not the case. I mean, the people who work there are employees.
I know you have a real heart for younger children, and I know teaching is in your background.
Well, I did a program in Richardson called Enterprise City, which was a city that kids came and ran for a day. Okay. And so I did that for the first 13 years of that program. It is still in existence, and it's amazing because it also was a little town. So I guess I like to see children participating in their community and their play town.
But see, this all goes back to what we know children of as those who like to pretend and play like.
Yes, one of my favorite stories, one day there was a very young 2 or 3 year old young boy who had loaded up the airplane with all the groceries from the grocery store. And I looked at him, I said, honey, you really need to take some groceries back. There aren't any left for anyone else to play with. But he looked at me very seriously and he said, but I'm going on a long trip. And you can't argue with that. He was going on that long trip.
Well, maybe and I think children still come, excuse me, naturally equipped with the desire to pretend in their play.
Oh, it's just amazing. You know, sometimes I walk around and by where they've moved things or what I see that they've left, I can tell what they were trying to do. Now, this is not a good one. We have a vegetable garden that is close to where you can milk the cow. Okay. And we have been refurbishing our vegetable garden. And when we turned it over, it was amazing how much water was in the bottom of the vegetable garden from where they had milked the cow, which comes out and then they'd taken the water from the cow and tried to water the vegetable garden. So you just never know.
Born in a garden, how lovely. You are really, you're a busy person in your community, but your real love and devotion is this Northeast Texas Children's Museum.
Yes, it has been, yes. My children will not even let me talk about it anymore. They start rolling their eyes. And of course, everything they say, I can come up with some way to relate it to the Children's Museum.
Oh, yes.
So I have a hard time. I try to respect that. But then if we've been around it, I say, okay, I've just got to tell you this. So they just roll their eyes again.
That's lovely. A treasure and a miracle, Northeast Texas Children's Museum. And its new location, its actual address is 100 Maple And that sounds a little deceiving since it's out on Highway 11.
Yes, it is on Highway 11. So if you take Highway 11 to Commerce from here, it will be on the right-hand side. So just look for the red awnings and know that that will be the feature home in 13 days of the Northeast Texas Children's Museum.
Okay. And to bring all this together, of course, it takes money. And I know you have donors and you have people who believe in what you're doing there that help out. And some events that you hold annually to thank them and also to show appreciation.
Yes, we will be having an open house for the donors. That will be an invitation event, but a lot of our donors have been clubs, so the entire club will be invited, so we expect that to be a big event.
Wow. I do not know how you do it all, but I'm happy that you do. Pleased and proud to have Northeast Texas Children's Museum here so close to us in Sulphur Springs.
And I think the name that was given 17 years ago, Northeast Texas, is very appropriate because it does take all of Northeast Texas to make our museum a success.
And we have little time left, but I do know and want you to mention that you have a special love for Sulphur Springs.
I do have. My parents lived here, Thel and Lauren Garrisons. My mother taught at the high school. My dad, Thel Garrison, was the president of People's National Bank, if anyone remembers that.
Okay.
So very fond memories of Sulphur Springs.
Wonderful. Well, Charlene, and you're busy and you're also involved in your church and many other things, and I think there's a little, I'm going to make her do this, a little program that you're going to be involved in, like tonight.
Well, has anyone ever heard of Hee Haw?
Oh, yeah.
And so tonight at First Baptist Church in Commerce, we are doing Hee Haw, but don't get your hopes up. The lady who had the script, I said, so how many times do we practice this? And she looked at me and said, we don't. So it will be very entertaining. And so I can just say, Hee Haw. Did I do it right? I'm Minnie Pearl. I have to practice.
Oh, you're Minnie Pearl.
I'm Minnie Pearl, yes.
Okay.
So I'm just so proud to be here.
Thank you, Charlene, for coming in today.
Okay, thank you for having me.
In sports, on Coordinator Tuesday, Wildcats football offensive coordinator Matt Young comments on the Wildcats offense against Lovejoy last Friday. He will start with that, and Matt will also tell us about the Terrell defense the Wildcats will see this Friday in Terrell.
A lot better everywhere except just getting the win. We went in talking about we wanted to eliminate foolish penalties. We did better. We still had a couple, but we're working toward that direction. We want to value possession of the rock. We had an interception down in the red zone that hurt off the hands of the receiver, kind of trying to fit a tight window, and then we had a fumble that we lost moving in the pocket. We're going to get better at that. We're going to be a two-handed monster in there and take care of it, and then we want to do our job. Our execution level, our kids' grades on assignments went way up. And we just got to finish. I mean, really proud of how they did. I thought our quarterback, Wallace, played really, really well. Distributed, I think we had 10 different people catch balls. 3 different running backs carry the ball. I mean, just a lot of things going the right direction. Our efficiency graded out at like 47%. The week before, we were like 47% in the first half, but 31% the second half. But this was 47% for the game. And it really came down, we just kind of ran out of time on ourselves. Not being able to get a score at the end to go in, but just hung around. The beauty of it was seeing our guys struggle and come back and fight, and that's that toughness we've talked about all year. The O-line blocked every front imaginable. Lovejoy really kind of had a playoff game type game plan. I mean, they were very elaborate in lots of different things they did, things they tried. And our line struggled at times. You saw guys in the backfield, but other times you saw us gash, which is why we had over 100 yards rushing. So we continue to make improvements. I love what Gio Pisano's bringing up to the O-line. Him and Chandler Leo, just their willingness to fight, their willingness not to panic. Receiver-wise, we got guys that are contributing on both sides of the ball. Ch.18, K-Row Wade, both those guys had touchdowns. Those are defensive starters that are popping in. Chase Haney, I think, led the team in receptions, or maybe the most yards. I think Bryant Sanchez may have the most catches, but Chase is another defensive starter. So we got kids that are willing to play both sides, are willing to learn, and it's district now, and so that's kind of what we talked about. Now it's vital. The fourth key now, we got to score touchdowns when we get down there in the red zone. We got to win those big downs. We have an opportunity to make a play. We have to make a play.
All right. Now you got Terrell. and they've undergone a coaching change, and some kids have left, and some of that kind of stuff. What do they look like to you on defense?
They're kind of like Paris from about 5 or 6 years ago. Not real complicated in what they're doing, so you got kind of an idea. We got limited video of people running what we run, so it's kind of hard to get a beat on some of that details. But what they're going to do is they're going to play really fast, play really hard. They have, I would be willing to bet, one of the best linebackers in the district. I know by now he's the best we've seen in 3 weeks. He's also one of their running backs, extremely violent, taking on blockers, making plays. The back end, they're just going to limit space. So you may create some space to get open, but that space is going to close in a hurry. So timing is crucial. And that's really what we're talking to our guys about. We got to be sharp on our cuts. I can't be lazy when I come out of a break, or you're not going to get the completion that you've got in the last couple of weeks. You can't hesitate when you catch the ball to see where you want to go. You better catch it and go. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything. So the challenge for us, they're a little bit thin. They got a lot of guys. I think 8 or 9 of the offensive starters play defense. I think that's how we look at it. A lot of the offensive linemen. So hopefully our tempo, our pace, pushing them side to side, making them run sideline to sideline will fatigue them some. That's kind of what happened in their first 2 games. They've been in those games through halftime. They just kind of run out of gas. And we need to use that to our advantage, hopefully.
Yeah, the coach told me in Hallsville, their opener at home, they were 3.5 quarters there against Hallsville, and then Paris is Paris this year. They're
really strong. So, I mean, it's going to be a challenge because they do. They're going to. Your mistakes will be costly because they get there so fast. Any slight error. So really, but I mean, the focus for us always goes back to us. If we do what we do and do our job, then it's hard to keep us out of the end zone, keep us from scoring.
Are you seeing a difference in practice with it being a district game preparing for it?
I don't know that for sure yet. We had a good day yesterday. This group practices really well. It's a sharp bunch. They're asking questions. We're able to put a little more on their plate through wrinkles or maybe an addition for the week. But I wouldn't say a change just yet. It'll be interesting to see if today maybe reveals a little bit more about that.
Wildcats football defensive coordinator Alex Guetta tells us about the defensive play last Friday night against Lovejoy. He'll start with that, and he will also comment on the Terrell offense. The Wildcats defense will take on Friday night. That would be the wing T offense.
I thought we played well in spots. Felt really good. I felt we were very physical. We had a couple mental breakdowns that led to some busted coverages, and of course they had that great receiver who made some good plays against us. But I was pleased with the effort.
D-line really had their work cut out for them against a huge offensive line that was pretty good.
Yeah, they did a great job. We're not big by any means, but we're pretty quick. We're pretty strong in areas. So I thought our D-line held up well against a big old strong opponent, and they battled. They battled really well.
Coach Owen seemed pretty pleased with the play of the secondary, even though, obviously against a good passing team, you're going to give up some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought our secondary did a good job. Our coverages were great. We checked into different stuff. We gave up 1 or 2 here and there, but, like you said, those things happen in today's game. We have some great passers and great schemes, and we expect that sooner or later someone's going to get loose on us, and, we missed a few.
There were some really good coverages on a couple of plays. I think the Bull got put on an island one time, and he did pretty good back there one-on-one. And then Haney one time had a better shot at the ball than the receiver did because he just had him blocked off so good.
Yeah, done a good job. Our 2 safeties done really good. I'm really proud of Bull, sophomore being up there playing, and but he's been under Haney's wing. Haney's done a great job, and Haney's like a third coach on the field, between me, Coach McCain, and himself in the secondary, and he checks calls, and he guides Bull, puts him in the right spots. So it's awesome to have a kid like him to help a kid like Bull with tons of talent.
All right. Let's talk about Terrell a little bit, back to the future, or here we go anyway, with the wing T from Marvin Sedbury Jr.
Yes, sir. Good offense, man. A lot of guys don't run it nowadays. It seemed to make a comeback. It's funny because now people are saying they're acting like it's new. It's been around forever. And I was fortunate, like I said, we talked about earlier, I've cut my teeth defensively on that, seen it down south a lot. It's a great offense, and you need to be super duper disciplined in what you do. And on top of that, you got to be super physical. So I think it's a great game for us. We just got to run downhill and be disciplined and read our keys.
Yeah, you really have to hold your ground, don't you? Just make sure that you don't head the wrong direction. One false move, and this can kill you.
Yeah. the offense in general, one false step and 1 yard, 2 yards off, and they're going to the house. And especially with the athletes they have now, not only are they dangerous because they're running that offense, but the kids they have run it. They got some speed, they got some ability, they got some big old linemen that can move well. So, for sure, if we're not disciplined, one wrong step and they're going to go to town with it.
Seemed like a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2. Defense seems to be coming along to please you right now.
Yeah, like I said, first week, we knew we were gonna have growing pains, and I talked to the guys, all week long, and even right before the game, I said, guys, that whole we're young stuff is over. You got to grow up. It's time. You've had your experience. Your eyes were spinning at halftime the first week. Not anymore. We're ready to go. So we need to stay the course through the highs and lows in play, and I thought they responded well. We just, like I said, we couple of blown assignments, and those guys took the lead.
You've sensed in practice that they realize that the things kind of get more important now, district play.
Yes, sir. They're a good group. They're very coachable. They're pleasers, man. Whatever we ask them to do, they attempt. They do the best they can, and they're coachable. And this week we've talked a lot about it being, already talked about it being a big week for us. See, district opener. If we're talking playoffs, we got to get this one. So I feel like yesterday they're very attentive. We had a real good learning practice. We kind of stepped through a bunch of stuff and some good walkthroughs, and today we'll put the pads full pads on, and we'll have at them and see how we look.
As I think back to Terrell from last year, I think the back that really hurt us graduated. I think he D.D. George.
Oh, D.D.'s back.
Oh, he is back.
Yeah, we saw him.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's kind of how we felt about it at first. He's back, and he can move, man. He's got some skills.
He had some huge plays against us, and they scored 27 points, so they were kind of hard to stop.
Yes, sir. He's back, unfortunately for us. Great for them, I guess, but we'll do all the best we can to contain him. We know that this kid doesn't go down with just a hit. We're going to have to wrap him up, and we're going to have to rally to the ball. We've worked a lot at swarming to the ball, getting there, and for a kid like Didi, we're going to have to all be there.
That's Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for watching, and so long, everybody.